Did she really appear on our wedding night, or was it all in our heads? Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. If you love spooky legends and sweet tales from Africa, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Now, settle in as we share the spine-tingling true legend of the Ghost Bride of Cape Coast Castle. Long ago, in a small fishing village near Cape Coast Castle, there lived a young woman named Oma. She was known for her kind heart and bright smile. Oma worked at the castle, cleaning rooms and polishing silver. Every evening, she would watch the sun sink into the sea, dreaming of a love that would lift her heart. One day, a trader from a distant town came to the village. His name was Kofi. Tall and gentle, he traded spices and cloth at the market near the castle walls. When Kofi first saw Oma, he felt his heart race. Oma's laugh was warm, like sunshine on the water. Before long, the two fell in love. Villagers whispered, a trader and a cleaner. Does he know she works for the castle? Does she know he travels far away? But love did not hear the whispers. Oma and Kofi pledged their hearts. They planned to marry under the old silk cotton tree, where children played and elders told stories. The whole village buzzed with excitement. Even the castle guards smiled when they saw Oma in her simple dress, carrying baskets of fresh palm nuts. Kofi sold most of his goods to buy a small suit of borrowed fine cloth. Oma's mother sewed a dress from leftover canned scraps. The village women wove garlands of jasmine and hibiscus to hang above the silk cotton tree. On the day of the wedding, the sky was bright, and the ocean breeze whispered through the palm leaves. Just before sunset, villagers gathered. The old priest poured libations at the tree's roots. Kofi and Oma exchanged simple rings made of brass. Laughter and drumming filled the air. Children ran barefoot across the red earth. Even a stray dog danced in circles, wagging its tail. As the sun dipped below the horizon, villagers carried torches to guide them to the castle courtyard. The castle walls, built by blue-skinned slaves long ago, glowed in torchlight. The courtyard was filled with tables of palm wine, roasted fish, and cassava cakes. Elders told stories of brave warriors and clever tricksters. The mood was light. Everyone felt the warmth of love rising like steam from the fresh food. But as the moon climbed high, a hush fell. It started when Oma's friend Efua gasped and pointed at the old tower where the castle's prison once stood. No prison guards watched that tower anymore. Yet a white figure floated near the window, dressed in a wedding gown that glowed under the moon. Every head turned. Gasps echoed. Some cried out, "It's a spirit." Others whispered, "It's a trick of the light." Oma squeezed Kofi's hand. Her heart pounded. Kofi frowned but stood tall. He stepped forward and called, "Who goes there?" The white figure didn't answer. Instead, she drifted down from the tower, past the old iron gates, and hovered over a corner of the courtyard. Her face was pale, lips tight. Her eyes were empty and dark. The drum stopped. Silence. Then a woman's laugh rang out, light, teasing, like someone hiding behind a door. But no one saw who laughed. The ghost bride floated closer. A cold wind snaked around the torches, flickering the flames. Torches sputtered and almost went out. Some young men screamed and ran. Women clutched their babies. The elder priest lifted a staff and muttered prayers. Kofi pulled Oma behind him. He stepped toward the figure and said, "This is a wedding, not a haunted house. Show yourself." The ghost bride tilted her head, as if studying Kofi. Then she raised one pale hand and pointed to the castle walls. Oma took a step forward. "Wait," she said loudly, "maybe she is lost." She mustered bravery and walked toward the ghost. Each step felt heavy, like wading through thick mud. Villagers watched, wide-eyed. The ghost bride floated backward, leading Oma toward the old tower. Kofi followed, confused. "Oma, don't go," he whispered. But Oma kept moving. As she neared the tower, she saw the sparkling dress was tattered and covered in dark dust. The bride's face was sad, eyes full of longing. The ghost lifted a finger to her lips, shushing Oma. Then she pointed up to a small barred window in the tower. Inside, Oma glimpsed a dusty wedding ring balanced on a windowsill. She felt a chill. She whispered, "Who are you?" The bride glided closer. In a shaky voice, she said, "I was meant to marry here. But the sea took him before I could." Tears formed in her empty eyes. Her voice cracked like old wood. "I have waited for him for many years." The villagers crowded below, listening in stunned silence. The ghost explained, "Years ago, there was a woman named Abena. She fell in love with a sailor named Yaw. They planned to marry at Cape Coast Castle. But Yaw's ship sank in a storm. Abena waited for him every night at the tower's window. She wore her wedding dress day and night, hoping he would return. Weak and broken, she died at that spot. Some say the sea dragged her away, others say she simply withered like a leaf. But her spirit stayed to wait for Yaw." Oma's heart ached. She reached out a hand. "I know how it feels to wait," she said softly, thinking of Kofi's long trips to towns far away. The ghost nodded. Then she turned and drifted toward the castle door. Oma called, "Wait. Wait for me." Seconds later, Kofi, the priest, and several men followed. Inside the courtyard, torches lit the walls. The ghost bride floated down the steps and paused. She raised her hands as if to bless the wedding below. Then, she let out a wail that sounded like the sea in a storm. Torches dimmed. Tables shook. Villagers trembled. Suddenly, one of Kofi's friends, Kwaku, burst into laughter. "It's just a trick," he yelled. Some men in the back snickered. They had rigged a pulley and white cloth to scare the crowd. Kwaku pulled the cloth aside, and sure enough, the bride's dress was made of tattered cloth and fishing nets. A thin wooden frame held it up. But Oma looked closer. The face wasn't cloth or wood. It was pale skin and dark eyes. The figure flickered like a candle in the wind, then faded away. Villagers gaped. But how?" they whispered. Kwaku shrugged. "I asked my brother to help me make a prank. But I did not make her walk." He pointed to the tower window where the dusty ring still lay. "We set it here to scare Oma. We didn't expect her to move or talk." The elder priest stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. "Pranks are one thing, but spirits are another. We have disturbed her rest." He called for silence. Then he bowed his head and prayed for Abena's spirit. Suddenly, the air stilled. Torches burned steady. No wind howled. A soft voice whispered, "Thank you." Everyone froze. Then a gentle warmth filled the courtyard. The ghost bride appeared one last time, her face soft and peaceful. She floated toward the window and reached for the ring. When she touched it, a warm glow spread across her dress. With a final shy smile, she turned toward the sea and vanished into thin air. For a moment, no one moved. Then, someone shouted, "She's gone for good." Laughter bubbled up like warm palm wine. Men slapped each other on the back. Women wiped tears. Kofi hurried to Oma's side. He hugged her tight. "Are you safe?" he asked. Oma nodded, tears in her eyes. "I think she found him," she whispered. "I think they are together now." The elder priest gave a nod. "Let us finish this wedding," he said with a small smile. The villagers cheered. Torches were relit. Drums began to beat. Tables filled again with food and drink. The wedding feast turned into a celebration of life, love, and the brave spirit of Abena. Children danced in circles. Elders told jokes about the silly prank and the true ghost. Even Kwaku turned red, but he laughed too. He promised to help build a small shrine by the tower so no one would disturb Abena again. The next morning, the village woke to golden sun and calm seas. The castle walls looked brighter, as if cleaned by ghostly hands. Near the tower, the villagers found a small pile of fresh flowers, hibiscus, jasmine, and even a single white lily. No one knew who left them. The elder priest said, "This is Abena's gift. A sign that her spirit is at peace." At the shrine, they found the dusty wedding ring, now shining like no metal could shine. Oma took it and placed it in a small wooden box carved with symbols of the sea and love. She and Kofi buried it under the silk cotton tree where they first played their hearts. From that day on, the tree grew tall and strong, with white flowers that smelled like jasmine and ocean breeze. Years passed. Oma and Kofi had children who grew up knowing the story of their mother's wedding night and the ghost bride. They would sit under the silk cotton tree and listen as Oma retold the tale. Children would shiver as she spoke of pale eyes in the moonlight. Then they would giggle at the memory of Kwaku's prank and the panic it caused. Visitors came from far away to see the castle and hear the ghost story. Guides told them, every wedding here must begin with a prayer for Abena. We leave flowers at the tower window each year on the day Oma and Kofi married. Tourists would smile, some skeptical, some hopeful. But all left feeling a bit of the magic that lived in that old castle. One day, a traveler named Na arrived. She was a storyteller and teacher. She asked Oma, now an elder, do you think Abena's spirit was real or just a trick of the mind? Oma looked toward the castle. I knew that men rigged the cloth and pulley, she said. At first, I believed I saw only a prank. But the way she spoke, only the true spirit of a bride who loved her groom could know such sorrow. When she took the ring, I felt a warmth I cannot explain. As long as I live, I will say this, some things cannot be made with cloth and wood. No nodded. Sometimes, when our hearts remember someone we lost, we see them again. Our hope can be a kind of magic. She smiled at Oma. This story will spread far and wide. People will come to Cape Coast Castle not just to see ghosts, but to remember love that lasts beyond death. As Oma finished telling the tale to Na, a young boy called Kwesi tugged at her dress. Grandma, did you ever worry the ghost would take your wedding dress too? He asked, eyes wide. Oma chuckled. No, my child. I wore my dress only once. I think even Abena knew that. Besides, she winked, if a ghost wants to try on a dress, she can find one in any shop here. But I heard she looks best in white. Everyone laughed. The sea breeze carried their laughter across the village. As the sun set, the ghost of Abena was known to watch from the tower window, smiling at the happy life she helped bring to light. And sometimes, just sometimes, on a moonlit night, a white flower would drift in through the castle gates and settle by the old shrine, a gentle reminder that love and laughter can conquer fear. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Until next time, keep your heart open and your minds curious, because in Africa, magic often walks hand in hand with the living.